Goes on, 1992, just a short version of the whole thing. We start this sort of community and my whole thing was about, well, healing. Everyone, war destroys people, It's like I had a lady tell me once, she goes, you're blessed when the bomb hits you right on the head. Because then you're gone, and un solo vergazo, one shot. But the people that remain, and my heart was with ex-combatants, men and women that fought, and they were kids that fought in the war. And eventually, many of them were so far gone that we started working with the kids, and that was really the beginning of the Tamarindo community. We spent the first couple of years digging up the dead, burying people, family members, and then from there, we're involved in human development, education, mental health, recreation. We even started a national hockey team.
So there's a big story here with you and all of this that would take a lot of time to tell. Where are you now? And now there's a foundation. There's a Tamarindo Foundation.
Well, that's what we're here doing right now.
Here we're raising some money to try. What do you guys do? Tell us what it's about.
So for years and years, I used to jump my Volkswagen van.
I remember that damn van. And you got the nub, and this is how you drive in El Salvador. If it's a four-way stop, you just kind of put your head down and you honk with your little horn, and you kind of floor it.
So you remember the Volkswagen? It's still running, by the way.
The thing broke down every other day, but you never gave up on it. I don't know how you
just fix it.
Hell of a mechanic.
So the Volkswagen van, we used to jump in the Volkswagen van annually, and sort of do a tour that would take sometimes all the way to New York, and quite often up to Montreal, and then back down to Vermont, and make my way over to California, and then back home.
Yeah.
And just beg, ask people for help. And we beg because there really isn't any other way. We tell people stories, and we ask them to help us what we're doing. And so essentially the foundation exists to empower young people and families in El Salvador to really take control of their lives. And that means in every aspect, in yoga we talk about love, and I spoke about it today.
Are you a big yoga guy?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I teach it.
You teach yoga?
Yeah.
How about that?
So but I love the idea of sort of finding this place, as I say, where the universe dwells, and to see that in someone else, which is really, we fail at that all the time. People we love and our best friends, we fail, but the next day you get to try it. And then we find this place in them where love and integrity and wisdom and peace. We find that in them, then we find that in ourselves. We do that through formal education. We do that through personal formation. We do that through recreation and wellness.
The Tamarindo Foundation does this.
So that's
is how
what,
you do this.
Yeah, so microfinance and business.
So let me color it a little with my experience. When I went down 16 years ago, I thought we were going to build some latrines in El Salvador. And I don't know if that's what Rachel Tomas Morgan told me or not. But we went down there.
Who's still at Notre Dame, by the way.
And it was more about relationship, and I would call it a youth group. At the time, you had the shop, and everybody hung out there, and it was a place for young, mainly boys at that time. I know that now it's boys and girls, and
moms and dads.
And at that time, you were sending your first students to college from this small town.
Okay, one of those guys who you knew is now a cardiologist.
Who?
Jaime.
Jaime's a cardiologist?
Yeah.
Where the hell is he a cardiologist?
It was a great story.
Still in El Salvador?
It was a great story.
So that, let me give you kind of the overview.
All right, and then I'll tell you about Jaime. It's a great
Jaime.
story.
So at the time I went down there, this was maybe, things are still kind of fresh, 5 or 7 years after the war. And you've got...
It was early.
There's a generation of kids who didn't have dads. So fathers had either died or gone to the States or whatever, and you kind of step in as a father figure, and then there's a youth group is what I would call it, where kids could go where it was a good place.
Nothing wrong with the youth group. I mean, that's what it was. It is what it is, right?
That's what it was at the time, and since then, so we just started at that time sending kids. You know, we raised some money for you at Notre Dame, brought it down, helped somebody go to college, and since then you've grown. You have a foundation, and that's what we're here trying to raise money for, and so. You know, that's part of what this is about, is to help further your mission.
Here's an empowering.
So tell me about
Here's an empowering story, right?
Because I remember.
So this kid is like, and I'm sitting with Dr. Larry, who's brilliant guy, Notre Dame. And I remember, and I will say this, one of my favorite, something I remember about you. I always remember this. So Larry, he loves Notre Dame football. Still, probably. That's
for better or for worse. That's true.
You love it. So Larry would paint himself for NBC with his guys, and Mayhem, and they weren't like the best years. Your years, you had.
You're right. That's true.
They weren't great years.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
Bob Davie. It was a Bob Davie era.
But I loved as soon as the game was over, and Notre Dame undergrads have somewhat of a reputation.
Because you came to a game.
I was there.
We came up from El Salvador to Notre Dame for a game.
I remember that.
Is that right?
I remember you just going right back to work. Like the mayhem is done, boom, you're there, because you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor, and he is a doctor. So here's
I was pretty focused.
Dude, but that's what you needed to do. I mean, that's what you needed to do. So, so we had a kid once, Larry's period, and this guy Jaime. You knew he was just a smart kid, and we don't have any sciences in Guajila,
So Guajila is
okay.
It's a small town as you get.
Rural
One
village.
road going through the place. But you just gotten electricity. Maybe there was not running water. I mean, people got
a little better, kind of the same now. We have a road now.
You could fill up your pila. You could fill up your kind of
like a water tank.
Big water tank once a day or whatever, but there wasn't running water. You had just gotten electricity when I was there, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this was out there. This was the third world. It was legit.
So anyway, rural school, wartime, kids are going to school under mango trees.
And they had to go 30 minutes to the next town to go to high school.
Well, those guys did. So the first generation were kids under mango trees, airplanes would bomb and shoot, kids would run, go home, hide their books. That's kind of how they grew up. We had one kid.
It's just hard for people to get
Luis Lopez, remember that name? Louis?
Yeah.
Okay, so this little guy, I mean, he works for me now. He's, a father of 3.
Luis, right?
Yeah, Cavad. That's exactly how he is, yeah. So Louis had to go to like the 5th grade like 3 times because there's no other grade. But so this guy Jaime, a very similar situation, but he's he's a smart kid. But he's working for his dad, and